Testing, testing.
Testing, testing. All right, there we go. Welcome to the wonderful world of Rich Blye here at cmpradio.net, the voice of Chester. Hey, everybody. Good evening, my neighbors. All right, we're going to get right into it. I know that yesterday I started off with my usual advertisement for what today's Monday segment would be, and it's always about Men's Mental Health Monday, but we're going to push that to the side today happily push that to the side because I got something way better. But before we get started, as you all know, I always start off with prayer. And I always start off with a scripture reading because we don't just battle against the physical. We don't just battle against forms. We do battle against personalities, and we do battle against principalities and the wickedness that has trying to consume this earth. So, Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day, and I thank you for this moment, a time of happiness. Lord, thank you for the blessing that you have given to me, your servant, to be able to persevere and endure. Lord, we thank you for everyone present. We thank you for the spirit and the strength that we all gather as we come together in this time of Thanksgiving and holiday festive cheer to make sure that we bond together as brothers and sisters throughout the land, no matter where we are, this country or any other country abroad. Father, grant us your protection, watch over us, keep us safe in the bosom of your heart, and make sure that we order our steps according to you. These things I ask for in your name, amen. Scripture reading. This is going to be Isaiah 48, the entire chapter is 22 verses. It is necessary. The Lord will refine and rescue. Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah, which swear by the name of the Lord, and make mention of the God of Israel, but not in truth, nor in righteousness. For they shall call themselves of a holy city, and stay themselves upon the God of Israel. The Lord of hosts is his name. I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them, and I did them suddenly, and they came to pass, because I knew that thou wast obstinate, and thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow brass. I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it became to pass, I showed it to thee, lest thou sayest, mine idol have done them, and my graven image and my molten image have commanded them. Thou hast heard, see all of this, and will you not declare it? I have showed thee new things in this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. They are created now, and not from the beginning, even before the day that thou heardest them not, lest thou sayest, behold, I knew them. Yea, thou heardest not, thou knewest not. Yea, from the time that thine ear was not open, for I knew that thou wouldest deal very treacherously, and was called a transgressor from the womb. For my name's sake, I will defer my anger, and for my praise I will refrain from thee, that I cut thee off. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. For my own sake, even for my own sake, will I do it? For how shall my name be polluted? I will not give my glory unto another. Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my call. I am he. I am the first, I am the last. My hand also have laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand has spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they shall stand together. All ye, assemble yourselves and hear. Which among them has declared these things? The Lord has loved him. He will do his pleasure on Babylon. His arm shall be on the Chaldeans. I, even I, have spoken, yet I have called this. I have brought him, and he shall make his way prosperous. Come ye near unto me. Hear these things. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning, from the time that it was. There I am. And now the Lord God and his Spirit have sent me. Thus saith the Lord, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am the Lord thy God, which teaches thee to profit, which leadeth thee by the way thou shalt go. Oh, that thou hast hearkened to my commandments, then had my peace upon as a river, and thy righteousness as the waves of the sea. The seed also had as the sand, and the offspring of thy bowels, like the gravel thereof. His name should not have been cut off, nor destroyed from before me. Go ye forth of Babylon, flee ye from the Chaldeans, with a voice singing, and declare ye, tell you this, utter even unto the end of the earth. Say ye, the Lord hath redeemed his servant Jacob. And they that thirsteth not, when he led them through the deserts, he caused the water to flow from the rock from them. He clave to the rock also, and the waters gushed out. There is no peace, saith the Lord, unto the wicked. I'll explain that, but I had to read that whole chapter for context, because people were talking about cutting people off and leaving and going to a different situation. You have to understand that that whole chapter is a command for you to be in your righteousness when you make those moves. But like I said, I got something else going on right now that is absolutely phenomenal for me, and I think it's going to be great for you, Chester, great for you, Upper Darby, great for you, Brookhaven, great for you, Aston, great for you all in between. Miss Vanessa Morbeck, hello. Welcome to CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester. This is the wonderful world of Rich Blye. Tonight, we are honored to welcome Vanessa Morbeck U.S. Army veteran, MST survivor, author, also an advocate, and the powerful voice behind the book, The Unseen Unheard Soldier. Now, Vanessa was born on a military base in Nuremberg, Germany, and she went on to serve as military police in the United States Army. You also became a federal law enforcement officer, and her journey, to me, is one of resilience, courage, and survival. Now, through her book, Unseen Unheard Soldier, Vanessa reveals that there's too many service members that endure in silence the trauma of sexual assault, institutional failure, and a lifelong battle towards healing. Her story is a very raw story. It's unfiltered, and it's very necessary. So this is where I'm going to give people a disclaimer. You may not like what you hear, but you're going to hear it anyway. If you got to turn it off, or if you got to go someplace else, I suggest you start now. It exposes the reality behind the uniform, and it gives a voice to those who have been silenced, dismissed, or forgotten. Vanessa has been featured at veterans events, community programs, and advocacy work all across the country. Her courage is to speak openly about military sexual trauma, has given other survivors the strength to come forward and find their own path to healing. Okay? So let's get right to it. Vanessa, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You find everything pretty good? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, good. So I want to talk about your book, Unseen Unheard Soldier. It starts with your early life and service. So what inspired you to join the military, and how did that journey begin?
Unbeknownst to me, I did not know that I had family that was in the military, like my stepdad, my grandfather, biological grandfather, and biological father. Right. Until like after I joined the military. Okay. And I decided to join. Actually, there is a short story to that. I was in a movie theater, and I saw people, with certain disabilities, and I'm like, okay, they can't join, but I can join so that I can protect them, protect the weak, protect the vulnerable, and honor my sacrifices in my life to the country.
Okay. So your book shares a very painful but necessary truths about military service trauma. Basically, can you explain that acronym? Because for a lot of people, like I said, we don't have these conversations. And part of the problem is that when you're breaking this down, and, from a veteran standpoint, and I know this because my father served, my brother served, and I'm around veterans a lot of people don't take the time to understand a veteran's point of view. And because they don't take the time, they also don't understand some of the terms. So if you could.
Military sexual trauma is any form of sexual harassment, from rape to sodomy. There's a whole list of things under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, our military law, that specifies what MST is, or military sexual trauma. I think most people in service know it as like SHARP, which is Sexual Harassment Assault Response Program, or SAPR, which is Sexual Assault Prevention Response. And those are the two different types of places in the Army of what that goes under.
Now, what was the moment that you realized that you need to tell your story to the public about MST?
Just trigger warning, because this is going to talk about...
Listen, this is free speech. Thank you very much for it. Let's go.
In April 19th, 2020, it was COVID timeframe. I was trying to get mental health help for PTSD. I was security in Tacoma, Washington at a casino, and they had shut the domiciliary down that I waited like 8 months to get into. So I'm like, no, I have to get help. You know, the suicidal thoughts are getting worse. I need to get into the hospital. So they sent me into a civilian hospital called Wellfound, and they ended up giving me, like, committing me, and then giving, like, involuntarily committing me, and then gave me like 9 different type of psych pills, and some of them interacted with each other, and they told me if I didn't take those, they weren't going to let me leave.
So wait a minute.
I was in the hospital for like a month.
So what do you mean type of psych pills? What is that?
Ooh, it was a list of psychiatric meds: Klonopin, Haloperidol, Ondansetron, Zoloft, and some of those. And I let them know, you know, this is making my condition worse. But I wasn't allowed to leave, and they weren't going to let me leave until I took all those meds. So I got out of the institution. There was another male veteran there, combat veteran, and we became friends. He was the only other veteran in there. Some stuff became more personal after we got discharged, and I feel like it was like a medical assisted suicide, because I wouldn't have done that if I was in my right mind without having 9 different type of psych pills intertwining in my body and brain all at the same time. So we had our little encounter. He was going to get ready to go, and before I knew it, you know, I ingested 9 bottles of psych pills that were full and a bottle of Korean liquor. And I said, hey, you need to get me to the hospital. And then I went to St. Clair's Medical Hospital, and then within 30 minutes, I coded into respiratory failure because my body shut down. And that's when I knew I had to write the book, when I survived that. And I was in the ICU for like 3 days.
Silence. Are we understanding right now when I talk about how veterans are not listened to and not heard? Let's go. We're going to do some more, okay? Many service members are afraid to report these type of assaults. These are things that I've learned from my late brother, Brian Sharif Taylor. We understand about 22 a day. We understand about not having your service-connected benefits 100%. We understand about how the mental health of veterans since the Vietnam War has not been as adequate as it needs to be. So basically, a number of people veterans have always been afraid to report anything, especially this type of trauma. What happens with this type of reporting process? Because I'm, as a civilian, I'm familiar with it on my father's side, but as a woman veteran, what is this process like? Because again, we know that we're being treated differently by gender. And I know this for a fact in the military service as a son of a veteran, that you are treated differently. So what is this process like? Because I don't understand it, but I really want to know it.
Well, I was served between 2011 to 2018, and then I was on active duty officially until 2016, but then I went through a medical board process. So technically I was still in the 2017 and 18, but I was going through a medical process to see if they're going to let me back in the service or permanently retire me medically. And to caveat off that, the process is difficult because they tell you to report on one side, and then when you try to do it, like with the situation with basic training or AIT or Korea, they retaliate against you, and then you don't know that until after you already reported it, that, you know, your career goes downhill. They ostracize you, they isolate you, they give you all these different type of commands, and pretty much like blame you for what happened to you. And it created a hostile environment for like 5 years.
You know, before
At every duty station.
Before you got in touch with me this morning, and you said that to me early this morning, and when I woke up this morning, I saw it, I was literally jumping through my ceiling because I was so happy that you had contacted me so we could talk about this. I actually was going to talk about Darvo. I actually have it on my list of things. Like, I intersected everything that we discussed, but this was literally on my list today with my topic of manipulated pupils. So I'm very happy to have you on tonight's show because it does bring a very personal touch to what I do here as far as my show, and want to bring more awareness to veterans, you know, situations and veterans' lives and your family. You know, as a person, as a human being, we take you for granted. A lot of citizens just say thank you for your service and keep it pushing. It's not as sometimes it's great, especially when it comes from children because of their innocence or something like that. But usually for a lot of these adults that you're around every day, it kind of seems hollow. I'm saying that as my personal opinion, being around veterans. Okay, I'm not saying that she is or any other veteran. Again, this is my show, and I speak how I want. Now, I just want to again, you know, this is just some painful stuff, and I'm really trying to like do the show and not like process it at the same time, which is kind of hard for me right now because the way that my mind works, it's just going to start fluttering. This SHARP process, again, I want to circle back to that. SHARP, SHARP is an acronym, correct?
Yes.
So please tell me about this SHARP process. I really want to process this one.
I was in the United States Army, and we had the program called SHARP, and that's where they have victim advocates come talk to you. You take these PowerPoint class about what sexual assault is and why you shouldn't do it, what the processes are. And you have two processes, at least back then, I believe it still exists now, where you would have to report, you could only report those type of incidents to a medical provider, military, police, or a sexual harassment assault response victim advocate. If you reported it outside of those things, which I wasn't aware of, and I did for a couple of my cases, that opened the door, especially in Korea, to a can of worms where it's like everybody knew. Instead of it being a need-to-know basis, everybody found out, and it just created.
So they purposely exposed you?
Mm-hmm. Because you can do restricted or unrestricted. Restricted reporting in the Army is where you can get the medical help for it, but the person's not going to get prosecuted. Now, they kind of brainwash you into thinking that the prosecution process is going to be easy and all that stuff, but I guess if I can throw out a number, I'd say most people don't get convicted, or even the cases just end up being unfounded or unconcluded because of...
What do you mean unfounded? Like, there's this actual screening that's done in these situations, correct?
One of my investigations took like, okay, for instance, my first sexual assault in Korea, it was by a Korean soldier. I just turned 21. He invited me off base. Long story short, when it came time to come back to report the situation, I told my supervisor instead of telling the military, telling the three people I was supposed to be able to tell. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, I don't know if she just didn't like me or something, or just wasn't professional because she was a senior NCO. Everybody ended up knowing. The rumors just went around. I mean, I had to stay in, when it came time to talk to the military police or criminal investigation command, they took me down from there. I had to go to the hospital, get a rape kit done, and that's really embarrassing to go through. They put you through a bunch of questioning, testing. I spent 3 days in an investigation room with no sleep, and these investigators talking to me like, what's the process, what happened, da-da-da-da-da-da. And that investigation took like, I'd say that happened in November, December, January, February, March. I say by February, when I tried to go to air assault school, that is when they told me. So it took 3 months because it was involved with the Korean soldiers. So they had to translate everything in Korean. The Korean army had to investigate. The American army had to investigate. They had to try to do all these different things together and whatnot and put pieces together. versus what happened. And the if the perpetrator doesn't say the right thing or
Right.
lies or whatever, it can mess with the investigation's determination on whether it's a true story or not,
Not.
or if it happened. So unfounded means they did not have enough evidence to prove that it happened, but it happened. So that was very disheartening for one of my first investigations.
So it happened, but because you didn't report it correctly, it didn't happen, pretty much.
Yeah. And that person still got to stay in the military until they finished their contract. And I had five investigations in Korea in a 1 year time span of my first 12 months of being in. I had like 6 different assaults, and
really
I had to
messed
stay on
up.
that base with all 5 of those people.
What?
I was scared to go into the chow hall. Like it was really messing with me because I had to live there for the whole year with all these people that had hurt me, and that's when I really started to, it was such a horrible process.
I'm like, I know that we have to talk about this, and it's very, very rarely that I am at a loss for words because I have to like process it. I'm not trying to interject myself in this story, but
Go ahead, say what you feel.
I'm the father of 2 murdered sons in Philadelphia, and I have recently been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress because of those murders.
My condolences.
My thing is that what's helped me with my therapy is being this open and being this honest with the world. Okay, I'm not afraid of it. Okay, I'm not afraid of it. I know what it is. I know what it can do to me, and I understand it from a civilian point of view now, moreover than I understood it from my father, who came back from Vietnam with it, and other soldiers that I've dealt with. But I've never met a woman veteran that has been in this type of situation. My commander, Lisa Kelly, is, love you, Lisa, has been my really, really good friend in helping me stay stable and help me understand post-traumatic stress more than my therapist.
Of course.
And how do you deal with this post-traumatic stress? How do you deal with this, with just, how do you stay alive?
Like I said, I got to a point to where I had tried to take my life like 5 days after I got out. And then this, I don't know if I should say this,
So
but
this is
this Korean American rapper who was from Seattle that I knew about when I was in Korea. It was 5 days after I got out. I was homeless in my car. My daughter was in foster care. I'm just going through a divorce. They just, prosecuted I had gotten assaulted 3 days before I got out. I was ready in my uniform to just take my life and drive my car somewhere. But I'm like, hold up. The last thing I want to do before I take my life that evening, and that was April 15th, 2016. I'm like, let me go to this concert. Let me just go to this Korean person's coming. I don't really know much about him. Let me buy a ticket, whatever ticket it is, and the VIP ticket for what it was, and then go to this concert. I don't know. Let's just go. My heart was pulling me toward there. And so I didn't know really too much about him. my dumb ass. I was sleeping in my car, and I got to the venue like a day early.
Okay.
And I was in my uniform like a dumbass. And I'm like, at that end of this, I'm gonna, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And they had 3 organized line structures. So like, being the soldier that I am in my stupid ass uniform, even though I want to take myself out, I'm like, let me organize these lines.
Right.
VIP here, general admission here. If you got the other tickets to meet, VVIP here.
Right.
And by the time they all got there, the security for that venue and the people were just impressed.
Mm-hmm.
From what I organized their structure.
Of course.
They made me part of their security detail, and got to go to the after party and backstage and take a picture by myself with that whole cast. And that's when I met the individual's name is Jay Park.
Okay.
He's Korean American. He was born in Seattle. Okay. Gone through some stuff. He's a very close friend of mine, and I'm really grateful for him for saving my life that night, because if he wasn't as kind to me and not knowing my backstory, and God intervened at that time to bring me that positive situation to just stay a little bit longer, And I got to like drink with them and talk with them and go backstage and like say if this was the stanchions right here, everybody else had to be in the back, but I got this little special spot in the front, right in front of the stanchions. Like if I was security, just chilling, and it was just so personal and so close, even though I didn't know this individual. But that level of kindness and respect when they didn't know jack shit about what I was going through, saved my life that night, and I just ended up, surviving until the incident in 2020.
So even after all of this, and I know for a fact that going through my personal trauma, you kind of lose a sense of yourself.
Absolutely.
As if you don't know who the person that you're looking at in the mirror, and it's dark. How I know where I'm at with mine, and if I can just be personal to ask, because every bit of information helps me. Like this is helping me right now. And I don't care what the audience needs right now.
How I feel so embarrassed to even talk about this stuff because people are so judgmental, and I get so many hate comments. And you got my baby daddy and his wife and everybody else, and messing with my daughter and telling her I'm this, and that because of what I've been through, or that I'm just making it up, and this is real, and I should get a real job, even though my PTSD affects me working because I get anxiety attacks.
Oh, you too, huh?
Yeah.
I
get fired. I've been fired from every job in the last 5 or 6 jobs I've had.
Can I tell you, my last corporate job was Roof Chris, Philadelphia.
What's that?
It's a high-end steakhouse.
I just moved here in 2020.
It's like number 2 of the steakhouses that people like to go. Oh,
you said Roofs?
Yeah,
I've
Roofs.
been there before. That's expensive.
Yeah, I've always been a restaurant manager since 1999.
Nice.
Corporately trained. Lots of a lot of people. Oh, you can't do. You'd be surprised about my resume. But it was really after the first murder of my son Derek Eugene Blye. I thought I was ready to go back into the corporate world. I wasn't, and I literally walked away from. I walked away from it. I didn't get fired. I didn't say I quit. I literally was threatened on that job by a man who said, because I turned the TV that he was watching in the restaurant that I worked in, he was going to blow my head off.
Wow.
And it triggered my PTSD.
Sorry. And
I went down and I got my coat and I got my bag and I exited the door, and I never went back. So Roof Chris never got an exit interview. This is the first time I actually talked about it, because I think it's important for people to understand that when we talk about post-traumatic stress, it's individualized, but there's a connection, because now we're super hypersensitive to everything. And people don't get that. They think it's excessive. They think that we're overreacting. It's not. Our trauma centers are so hyper that we're seeing stuff on levels that most people can't comprehend, which is why I read the Word of God. Is why I call it into being, because I know what I'm dealing with.
You feel it, empathically. You feel it. You end up being able to scan everybody in the room, figure out who has like bad vibes, if they have bad intentions, because your nervous system adapts.
Yes.
And so it irregardless of what trauma it was that created the post-traumatic stress, now you're just sensitive to everything. Even just like basic tasks. But if you gave me a gun and told me and put me back in the military, or put me back in a cop position, and I have to do something for authority, like my job, I can maintain it because I've done it.
Yes.
But if it's like basic stuff at home, and like I'm in the process of, I don't want to be too personal about it, but I am, because it's important to me, because it's because my PTSD affects me that much that I'm getting evicted from my apartment for the second time in a row, and I was homeless for 5 years. Throughout the country, and after I got out the service, and so I was estranged from my daughter for quite a while, and it took I was walking on the streets of LA and sleeping under the little guard posts on the beach. I was homeless in Hawaii during COVID, sleeping on the sand, sleeping under a tree called a banyan tree that had like a little enclave, and I would hide myself under there, as my military training told me,
Yes.
caused me to be aware of that, with my little Korean dress that I had as a blanket and my bag wrapped around my foot to my head as a pillow, and I would tuck myself in that tree for about a month or so until I came back to the United States, because it just didn't work out there, and I fled there due to domestic violence, with whatever I was going through with the problems when it came to my daughter, and I was like, let me get out of the mainland and see if I go to Hawaii, because something's pulling me there,
Right.
just God or source or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, okay, let me go to Hawaii. I had to be confined for 2 weeks because it was COVID. And so that was cool. I had a little, but they isolate you literally for 2 weeks. You're in a room. And then they let you out, give you the vaccinations, all that stuff. And then I was just homeless chilling. I tried to get processes at their VA. I tried to see what veteran organizations there were to kind of get housing there. And I was literally just walking around Waikiki Beach in Oahu for like a month, and on this little spiritual journey, and just like, fuck it. Let me survive until the next month, and then go back to the U.S. I was eating mangoes off the side of the road because, I didn't have any food, digging in trash cans to try to find scraps of pizza, chilling with the other, homeless people that are there. And just like, that's really embarrassing for me to say, but that's what happened.
No,
I peeled the scraps of mango, like, I was like, oh, they have mangoes. Like anything I could find, I would try to ingest and eat.
See, this is why we have these conversations. We actually have a segment called Uncomfortable Conversations. And when we talk about these things, we understand now that we have to talk about these things. Damn how anybody feels. Damn what anybody thinks about you. Damn what they think the stigma is. Damn them. This is what I'm learning as I reinvigorate myself. And again, like I said, this is an honor for me because I want to learn more about what women veterans go through, so that if I ever meet someone else that has gone through what you've gone through, I know how to clear myself and get out of the way, so that way I could hear the message that I need to receive if I'm allowed to help, because it's not something that you can pressure people to do. What's the last time we met? What? A couple of months back?
Yeah.
Listen, I already knew. I understood. And that's why I contacted you once a month.
Thank you so much.
You know what I mean? Because again,
thanks, Reverend Benjamin Nelson, because he invited me there because he said, this colonel wants to meet you, and I'm like,
listen,
Halloween.
I
my
think
daughter
you really need to listen. Right. You need to rap to Colonel Jenkins, okay? You do. That's my guy.
No, I appreciate Colonel Jenkins.
No, listen.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna reach back out to him too.
I really want to work to get this book into a movie, kind of like the other military movies, like Tyler Perry or somebody, or a documentary to help with like.
Who do you need? An independent filmmaker by the name of John Rachetti? You need somebody?
That would be amazing.
You need somebody?
It'd be interesting to tell this story.
Here you go. Here's his email. That's my guy.
Okay. From like a women's perspective.
Oh no.
You don't really have to.
No, there you go.
Thanks.
Here you go. I see. I understood when the assignment when we first met. There are things that you see.
God is good. God is great. It's the opportunity I needed.
I just want to say this: like, people don't listen.
And those people, it's the people that are closest to home that don't listen.
They don't listen.
Did you know my daughter had the nerve over the weekend because of how brainwashed and manipulated she is, and she's 10 years old? She should not be forced to go back to the other side and get interrogated since she got moved there, since 5, to be like, what'd your mom do today? What did she do this? Who's she talking to? Is she dating someone? Is she doing this? Because me and my ex-husband have a restraining order against each other because he had took my daughter out of Seattle, Washington. I had to put her in foster care because of an incident that involved a weapon and some things, and I just wanted to put her there for her safety voluntarily when she was 8 months old. And she was with the foster mom for like 4 or 5 years. We would get visitation, play dates, all that type of stuff. CPS was involved. And then he came back and took her, but he didn't file the proper paperwork, and then ended up telling me some stuff about, like, if you don't pay me this amount of money, you're not going to talk to her. And then my daughter sent me these messages one time on Facebook Messenger saying, and I had just gone through a miscarriage at the time. And she was like, Mommy, I'm scared. Mommy, I want to hurt myself. Mommy, I'm like, I wrapped the bag around my head and did this, this, and this, and this. And I'm like, what? You just moved there like 2 months ago. What's going on? You're 5. And they're like, no. She was just playing with it. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, I literally just lost a kid. I'm getting all these other things from this. You know,
Right.
It was, when I tell you, as a prior law enforcement officer and federally and locally and all the training I have 12 years worth of military, law enforcement, security, first responder, going through EMT school now, and corrections and college training. I was a federal corrections officer.
Right.
All that stuff sticks with me.
Of course.
So when being Mama Bear, and I had to vacate Seattle when that happened, and try to do a welfare check, because I called the base. I said, hey, can you do a welfare check on my daughter?
Right.
Yeah, I called the whatever police department that's in the city, Mount Holly. I was just over there today, actually.
Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because she lives there. And
oh, really?
I called them, and I was like, look, can you please do a welfare check? I haven't talked to her. She's saying these messages, and I don't want to say his name and expose him, but he took that as a sign of me trying to threaten his career. And so because I had made a report and got a restraining order and had to do all this stuff, the Air Force investigators had to investigate him. So they went back through all our history from when we met online to when we got married.
Of course.
To everything.
That's how it works in the military, by the way. Stop messing with it.
For like, I was there for like 2 or 3 days explaining all these things, crying in tears, and showing them these messages. And they were going to kick him out, but at the time I was still homeless and adjusting. I'm like, no, let me just withdraw the charges. He needs to keep his job. That's the stability he needs, because he's been there for 20-something years, to make sure my daughter's taken care of, regardless of what's going on.
Right.
And then I find out that when I drove from Seattle to here, it took 21 days. I had no money, no gas, no food, in my uniform, just my evidence binder and all this stuff. It took 21 days going through there. And normally it's like a 2 or 3 day drive, right?
Right.
But for me, it took 21 days. My car kept breaking down. Law enforcement agencies would fill me with gas. I actually went to jail once because I was going through stuff. And I forget what state I was in, but they had this like little shrine thing that you could visit. And I thought it was like a trailer park thing. I didn't know people actually lived there.
Right.
And I went in there and I'm like, oh, they have this like fake rifle. Let me take it. Did you know what? That was somebody's actual rifle. Wow. And they called and pressed charges on me. Wow. And I was locked up for like, not even like 18 hours. But I was in my uniform. They stripped me, all that stuff, took the photos. And I'm like, look, I have all this evidence right here. I'm prior law enforcement, blah, 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 blah. They cleared me, got all the stuff they need, and they just let me go. They didn't press charges. God is good.
Right.
And I'm like, look, I really got to get to my daughter, And they got me donuts and coffee.
Of course.
Let me play in the room. Like, hey, you're one of us. We understand what you're going through, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
But they're like, do you know there's a restraining order against you? It was COVID time frame. Jersey's restraining orders are permanent, forever, for life.
Yes.
And they wouldn't let me kind of defend myself. And I kept I wasn't able to go through the court hearings because it was during COVID. You had to have Zoom. My phone was shut off. I'm traveling. And I'm letting them know this, they didn't give me no due regard to justify myself. They just permanized it. So by the time I got to Fort Dix and near their house to do a welfare check, they made it seem like I was crazy, and that the police said I can't contact my daughter. That wrecked me. And so I said, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of blocked me from that base. They arrested me, they all this other stuff. I had to go to the psych ward for however many times. Because I'm like, look, I drove all this way from my daughter. She's saying these things. I just lost a child. I'm going through a crisis. I'm homeless, all this stuff. And I just want to make sure my daughter's okay and hear her voice.
Right.
Then lo and behold, I get hit with a warrant and a freaking violation of a restraining order. And this restraining order, I wasn't even served to begin with the proper way.
Wow.
And it's still there. I want to go back into law enforcement so bad, but at the same time, they're using it as a crutch with my daughter to bully me.
So there hasn't been any type of veteran diversionary for you?
You have to live in Jersey to do it. There is, but I have to move there. And I want to move there, kind of, because I'm in North Philly, or move back. Did used to live in Darby. I was in Darby for quite a while, a couple of years with my abusive ex. And I'm just here. I just want to make it easier for my daughter. And
Right.
I love the veteran village. I'm glad they gave me an opportunity to be there for 3 years at a reduced rent and all this stuff.
Right.
But now I'm struggling. Now I'm getting evicted again. The car keeps breaking down month after month, and I had to use 2 paychecks back to back to put into the car because it broke down on me on the freeway. The brakes gave out. And these people sold me this car, and I was not dumb enough to look at the Carfax, or they didn't have the proper Carfax, and it was already a lemon when I had bought it. And the engine light was on for like a year on and off. I literally I paid $6,000 of a down. It's a lease from like Capital One. And then I still now, actually it just got paid. So it's not going to get repossessed, but now I'm still facing the eviction process and things like that. And I'm just scared because it took me 3 years to get the stability. And if I choose to not live there anymore, it's going to put me in a situation to where it's going to affect how I care for my daughter. Like I'm going to have to stay in the car or wait till they get the voucher and try to port it somewhere or whatever. And that's going to affect how the other side sees me. And then they're saying I'm trying to abandon my daughter if I lose this and that. I can get a normal job and I can do this and you're faking all this and blah, 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 blah.
Right. And
I'm like, look.
They don't care if you have a lung hanging out of your chest.
You're taking your daughter anyway because it's your time.
I know that feeling. I've been on the receiving end of.
And I have to deal with that till she's 18, unless I kind of.
No,
that's what's making me want to hurt myself now. Because like they're pushing so much.
I'm gonna say this to you.
It's my fault.
I've been through that where I felt as though that when I went through that process, I was told give up. I was told, it's not worth it. You got other kids, everything, stuff like that. And I want to say this to the whole world, and everybody knows this. My children are mine. When I say mine, I mean they're mine. It don't matter who their mama is. And I meant that. And so that feeling that you have about wanting to hold on to your child and hold on to where you're trying to get to, we're going to put some things out here in this atmosphere. Vanessa, we're going to put some things out in the atmosphere. I know that I have some very loyal listeners that are hearing this story. And
I'm just scared my daughter's going to see me as a failure and they're going to brainwash her so much to where she already hits me and abuses me and cusses at me, and she's 10. But because of what she's exposed to and what's being fed to her, in a polite way to say it, it's causing a rift between my daughter and me, and she thinks she can put her hands on me. But if I try to say anything or record her or record the things that she said and then try to play it back and send it to them, one, I'm violating her privacy and her trust because now she doesn't trust me, and then they're not going to take it seriously anyway. And she can't do that. She don't hit you. She doesn't do this. She says, you're lying. You're a liar. You're always going to be a liar. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm done. And can you see how that can like sway my emotions and make me just want to be like, I'm done. I'm checking out.
Because we live in an age nowadays, unfortunately, where
I love my daughter. If my daughter really knew the things I've done and gone through and survived to try to still be here in her life, if she honestly understood that instead of people telling her I was just doing my own thing and didn't want to be near her or whatever, then she would be like, Mom, I'm sorry. But she can't understand it, and I can't hold it against her because I know her transgressions are because she can't be herself over there. She has to put on a mask. So when she's with me and as a single mom, oh yeah, that's what I said. She just said I wasn't a single mom because he still takes care of her. So if I was her definition of a single mom from the internet or from the other side's point of view of what a single mom is that you don't have no one to help take care of your kid and that you're taking care of your kid by yourself with no family support. I said, what?
When has your child seen a child psychologist?
She has, but through the military base, but it just goes south.
Because she's
not open with them.
She's being coached.
I know.
No. I know it. I know it. I know
retarded.
It. No. She's being coached, and like I said, I'm so angry to hear these things because again, this is the trauma that people don't understand. It's the underneath stuff. Like we get where we're going with the MST, but then there's the collateral. And this and that's, I think that's the most unnerving part about dealing with this trauma, is that people use our children as collateral damage.
And they tell her I'm a piece of shit because I can't find a stable job. And then I have the wife and him texting me. He doesn't text me, but his wife does. Just books and books of bullshit paragraphs of what a shitty person I am. And what
do you respond back to it?
There's a restraining order. Technically, I can't.
So
I have to filter what I say. But no, I just ignore it now.
I know.
I tried to go to Mount Holly to report it today because I saw the cop at her school, and I'm like, look what's going on. You know, like, I know you guys been helping me deal with this for like 4 years.
Right.
They have me come to their house to drop off stuff. I can't be 500 feet from there. They could turn around at any time and say, I'm coming to the house, and I can get arrested when they're having me come there. They don't fear me. If they feared me, they wouldn't let me have my daughter at all.
What?
It's a control thing.
Yeah,
my daughter, between what they tell my daughter, she thinks that I'm never going to get the restraining order removed. It's not possible. Right. I'm going to be a piece of shit for the rest of my life. I'm going to be poor. I'm going to be whatever their perception of me is, that's instilled in her, and that I can't find a normal job, and that I'm faking my mental health and they keep emphasizing, just get a normal job. I'm like, well, okay.
What's normal?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point, is that...
And I have to deal with since she's 18. Unless I can get a court involved to, like, just let us communicate through whatever court custody app, and then they have to filter what they say because it's being monitored.
Right.
I can do that. And then I have to talk to a lawyer about getting the restraining order finally removed because it should just have never been there in the first place. Like,
well, I don't understand how that applies to your daughter, because
we're technically only supposed to communicate through the order about my daughter, but it's always something else, you know? And it's books and books of like accusations and all these things about me. And, you know, my daughter speaks from what their point of view is to me all the time, and makes me feel like a piece of shit because she's like, well, I'd rather be with my dad, or the stepmom don't treat me like this. And I'm like, would you hit your dad right now in the face, just not like you did to me? Or would you swear at me and say, fuck you and this, and this? Even though every other weekend I let your friend come over, you guys have a good time, and you try to use all the money I have to buy whatever you want to buy, and no respect for me. And then I have the other half saying, she don't respect you because you're a liar and all the blah, 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 blah. I'm like, ha, 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 ha. No, she can't hit you. She don't do that. She doesn't swear. I'm like, okay, whatever.
So for veterans and civilians that have been listening,
this sucks.
Yeah,
I've been driven to suicide a couple times by what they continue to do to me, but I'm still here.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad that you are, because, you know,
can I deal with that until she's 18? Like, no, I'm gonna have to actually probably do some legal processes here.
Yes,
because that's not gonna. So, for example, if I tried to go take mental health help and take a little staycation at the VA,
right,
because I know I have my daughter every first Friday, second Friday, and fourth Friday of the month, and if I try to go today, and the same thing, like, and then I stay there. If they want to keep me there for a whole month, you know, that's missing a couple weekends with her.
Right.
And now it's going to get thrown in my face, and you're trying to abandon her, and you're faking it, and this, that, and the third. So then it puts me in a bad pressure mode, because I got to be out by Friday because I had to have my kid, or I have to be about this. But no, I talked to the Mount Holly police today, and for everyone listening, they actually did tell me, you know, that's a civil process, but however, if the person tries to abandon your kid or doesn't take her when it's your time because you have to figure it out for where she's going to go when you're in the hospital, then that, like, DCP&P can get called, and then they get in trouble.
Right.
So the cop literally said, just go to the VA, take care of your stuff, see you when you get out, you know, if you need to, and don't let what they're saying get to you.
Yes. And you know,
I'm like, I know there's a lot of weight off my chest.
Yes.
Because legally nothing can be done if I'm hospitalized for my mental health.
And
which I want to do so bad, and I've been trying to do for like the last 2 or 3 years since I've been here. but that's been a hook in my back with when I have to take my daughter, so I keep suppressing it.
Yes.
But I really need to, no, I'm good now. I'm back on my meds. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm calm. But last week, couple of weeks was in like
touch and go.
Yeah.
Very, very, very touch and go. For a lot of folks who don't understand that, and I'll put it in this perspective, it's more like a now you see me and now you don't. Just to be very mild with it. And the rest of it is pretty much none of your business.
Well, why do you always get to throw it in my face that I'm abandoning my daughter and try to be away from her and put her in a position to tell her that I'm abandoning her because I'm in the hospital faking it?
Like I said,
do you know the tertiary damage that's doing to her?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, everything's being denied, and they're gods.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I have to deal with the brunt of it because I do let her be herself. I don't hit her. I don't yell at her.
Right.
I know that her defiance is because she trusts me and she's comfortable with me and she's vulnerable because she can't be herself there, and that's okay. And I try to set boundaries. And I say, don't talk to me like that.
Right. To attach what you're saying to me and creating this bond.
I love her regardless. That's my baby.
Yeah.
But sometimes her actions do get to me. And she's like, Mom, why are you crying? Yesterday, I'm like, because of what you said. You literally just told your friend that I do OnlyFans, have nude images in my phone, and that I'm a prostitute or whatever like that, because that's what's being feed into your head when I've never done any of that. That's just being feed into your head by certain people. And now you're telling your friend this? That's embarrassing. Please don't repeat that because, well, now it's out there now, but stuff like that. I'm like, what?
This
almost smacked the I'm like, nah.
I said,
hold up.
This is the rebuilding process.
This is a 10-year-old daughter about to be 11, a little Aquarius. She's Korean, Mexican, German, and Swedish. Mm-hmm. But still, she's 10, almost 11, talking like this. And I know it's not her because no normal kid would do that.
No.
She's so smart and she's so trained, though. She's so CIA agent, like double spy type of thing. Sucks. I shouldn't have to filter what I say in my own home and know that it's not going to get
used against
back
you
somewhere.
Right.
But I now have to filter what I say. I can't say everything to her.
So what do you want to see from the VA and the military regarding, the changes that you hope to see with MST? And, why do you think it's still failing?
You know what? I think we should have a facility specifically designed for male and women veterans of MST, and that should be its own little VA facility that where they go. But because it's recognized but then under-recognized, it doesn't get much attention. So, we have groups there and there. I have group therapy every week with a whole bunch of MST survivors.
Right.
You have people like this, like me, that talk about it online or whatever and write books and stuff that people are interested in, but it's still stigmatized and it's still not talked about enough. It's just a check mark to the VA. We have this department, but there's not actually really any services.
I hear you. My commander, Lisa Kelly, she told me to speak to you specifically because an advocacy group contacted our American Legion, Post 214. And with that, this group asked would she be involved in this type of trauma advocacy. My commander has a lot on her plate. And if she had manpower, women power, I'm quite sure she would delve into it, find out what she needed, and get things going. But she's looking to see if she can contact you. I told her I would give you an email.
Anybody can contact me.
And see how she could put the two of you together so you can further expand that. Again, like I said, I want to talk to Colonel Jenkins. I want to start talking to a lot of other veterans to help understand that why we're having this important podcast right now is not to stigmatize, it's not to hurt, it's not to bring anybody down. It's actually to uplift you, to give you this voice, that your powerful voice, because this is very powerful. Where can listeners find your book? You know what I mean? And follow your advocacy, support your mission. I want you to put your Cash App out there. No, listen to me. Listen. I'm not kidding. Listen to me. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding about that. This is not a beg thing. A lot of times, a lot of people come to me and say, Rich, is there a veteran that you know? Is there a veteran that you know? Is there a veteran that you know? Just last week, I was with my buddy Joe Kelly for a veterans tribute at Bonner Prendy. I was with him during the Delaware County Veterans Memorial Dinner. I want to be able to do my part. And part of that part is letting folks who listen to me, folks who's going to listen to this later on, folks who are going to listen, especially listen to this later on because it's Monday Night Football and stuff like that. But this is the best time slot.
That's okay.
You know what I mean? This is the best time slot. So no matter how many people are on now, it's always by Tuesday when I look at the analytics, and that's where the bulk of the people come in a day or two later. So tell the people how they can contact you. I do want that information on there. Sometimes a blessing comes in the form of a blessing, and it needs to happen that way, and we need to open up those gates because this is not begging. This is the time that we really take care of our own. I have a lot of veterans that understand your situation. I have a lot of women who watch who understand your situation. I have a lot of moms who watch who understand your situation. I got a lot of grandmoms who watch that understand your situation. I have a lot of folks who have cared for me.
Thank you, guys.
That have cared for me personally, okay? This man right now in this room has given me a voice when it was taken from me when my sons were murdered. He's getting the reason why I have to come from Upper Darby to Chester is to speak.
And I'm grateful that you do that, and I'm so honored you let me have you on your show.
Absolutely. I listen, I wasn't talking about much anyway.
The book can be found on Amazon, but to be honest, I like buying my own book, like 80 copies of it or something, and whatever at the cheapest price, I sign them, and then I donate them to whoever wants it. There are people that like to order it, but personally, I like signing it and gifting it up and box wrapping it and then sending it out to people. But if they want to buy it off Amazon, they can.
Well, if they want that personal touch, tell them how to do it.
And then it's Unseen Unheard Soldier. It pops right up.
Okay.
My Cash App, it says the little money sign, Morbeck, my last name, Mike Oscar Romeo, Bravo Echo Charlie Kilo, the letter V for Victor, and then it's hashtag or the dollar sign Morbeck V. But please, no, I'm not. Like you said,
no, it's not about that. No, listen. It's not. No. Listen to me. I know so many people.
I get scrutinized and stigmatized by the other people.
I could care less. If they're watching, excuse me, I need to say this. This is the wonderful world of Rich Blye.
I know.
Okay. Let me.
You're extorting people with your story and doing
no. Watch this. Let me say something very gently to anybody that's watching. Everybody knows me. If I vet you, I vet you all the way 100. All the way 100. That means I looked into your story before you're sitting here. I don't bring frauds. I don't bring fakes. I don't bring no jakes, none of that type stuff. I'm from Philly originally, okay? I'm from the old school of Philly. I know all about the game, okay? I know all about the con. I know all about the story. Like I said, I grew up as the son of a veteran, so I understand.
How is that? Because I'm curious because my daughter has an Air Force dad and I'm an Army mom, kind of how, even though we're a divorced household and he's still in the service, how is she going to get affected by that?
It depends. It depends upon the structure. I'm gonna say this because there are children who are raised by those who have served and are post service who just normal whatever, and then in my case. It was up at 5:30 every morning. Feet hit the floor. It was, you have less than 15 minutes to shit, shower, shave.
I wish I can say that to her, but then it gets turned against me.
Oh, no. Well,
she starts crying and texting them, my mom's doing this and that. And
it was morning calisthenics. And I'm like, nah. It was morning calisthenics. It was chow. Breakfast chow. And then it was out the door on time. Roger. That's why when I said to you, I'll be here at 6:50. I was here at 6:50.
Oh, when I get angry, but I'm one of those angry people that will glare at her, and then she's gonna try to figure out why I'm pissed off, and then just be silent and not talk to her.
You mean that?
Because I don't want to explode.
You mean when you look through them? Yeah, that was my dad. That's growing up military. I had a shoe shine box. I still have it. I had to shine my shoes. I still do keep my shoes in one area, in one row. I fold my clothes. My clothes hang up. I don't have any clothes hanging around anywhere I don't.
The attention to
All
detail
my,
is good.
all
It's
my,
such a good skill to
all
learn.
my books. Like you see how my books are.
Organizational and attentional
I
detail.
I can't help it. Like people will call it OCD. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's training.
It's training.
It's discipline.
Especially what we all had to go through in like basic training to break us down.
Especially
any
when
branch, and then to become a service member.
Ooh, Army, United States Army. My father, his best friend was worse than him. Okay, so the two of them together, it was something else. I remember when we went to Tijuana.
But you know how there's always jokes about the Air Force and the Army, right? So the Air Force gets this like, we get lobster who's bumping down the street, kind of I'm drinking wine type of like relaxed.
Very hoity-toity. Yeah.
And then like the Army's just like, hey, get the fuck up, do push-ups, come on, we gotta go.
Right.
And it's funny because there's all these funny like influencers and people on social media like that talk about mental health and just make so many fun veteran jokes and military jokes about the military life, and it makes me laugh, and it makes me feel better when I'm going through situations. I'm like, yeah, because he'll go through all the branches and like pretend.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like some of this stuff is so true and funny.
It really, and you know what? This is what
like,
this is what I found about veterans is that, like I said, I hang around primarily veterans, and I've learned that their sociability, if they can laugh with you, they can laugh through a lot of different pains. And like I said, you know, at the
satire, like,
yes.
For instance, this is not to alarm anyone, but we make this joke where we can't really say the word suicide, but we have to find a different way to say it.
Right.
So like, oh, let me go sit in the bathtub with a toaster, or let me test the load bearing capabilities of the ceiling fan. Stuff like that. We have to just word it different so it doesn't get alarmed. We just laugh about it so much.
People don't understand that veterans and families of veterans, military, first responders, we have a
dark sense of humor.
Not dark, morbid. Morbid. You know what I mean? It's because a lot of it isn't dark. A lot of it is just, what the hell did you just say? And for anybody on the outside of this life, they will never get that. They'll think that
they'll get,
oh my God, did you just say that?
Yeah.
And we be like, what?
I was kidding.
Well, I'm kidding. Listen, I don't care how you feel about it. We'll crack all the type of racial, sexual, jokes amongst ourselves. Yes. And if you are an outsider, you're just going to have to deal with it, because guess what? You cannot break up that camaraderie. That type of camaraderie comes from a personal place of experiencing some type of trauma, pain, and or commitment to one another. There is nothing like it in the world when a veteran, when a brother and sister in arms has to depend upon and rely on their battle buddy. A lot of people don't get that. So when that closeness is attempted to be breached, you're going to be met with some type of resistance, because it's natural. It's very natural. And
we can do it through any branch. So I served there during the Global War on Terrorism, 2012 to 2018. But I got the honor of being one of Philadelphia's honorees for the Veteran Parade. So I was next to Jerry Tempesto, who did a lot of combat missions in Vietnam and is kind of like honored for that.
Right.
He's a good friend of mine. Then there's Joe Griffiths. He has another radio show too. They were all there. The Grand Marshal for the parade was a POW, prisoner of war, from Vietnam. He had 14 months that he was captured in.
Was his name Ralph Galati?
Yes. I got the pleasure of marching with him.
You met my man Ralph?
Yeah, he was the Grand Marshal for the parade a couple weeks
ago.
Oh,
listen, I won't hold it against you.
And then it was me, Mary, another person, and then Tempesta. But I felt so, I didn't feel like I belonged up there, because all of them served in combat and did all these great things.
Can I tell you something?
And then I'm like,
I don't know the rest of them that well, but let me tell you something about that. I call him a national treasure.
I'm so ashamed.
No. Don't.
But I stood my ground and I was up there. Anyway.
Can I tell you? You being there was an honor for them, and I know Ralph personally enough to say this.
He's such a good guy.
Oh, listen, that is the. Ralph, you know how I feel about you, but you know I'm going to have to do it in our style. No, listen, he is a national treasure. He is a national treasure. I don't care how anybody feels about that man, but when you hear his story as a POW, this is why I tell people, you don't understand the love that I have for veterans
him and all the other people up there. And
yes, you like for me, it's not even a question. You know, it's being around you for 5 minutes, absorbing your energy, finding out if you're adaptable. Are you good? Let's go. That's where I'm at with it.
And it's funny because I'm like 33 at the time, and they're like a little older than me, a little bit. So then they weren't like keeping in step, and then the newscast was getting so frustrated because like there was one point where like Ralph was like just walking off track.
Oh yeah, Ralph does what he wants.
And then the color guard was there, and they had this like big gap. And so they didn't want to film it on the news. Until we got to a checkpoint where everybody got together. And we were all together. Yeah. But then they still were like dragging their feet and taking their time. And I was like,
Ralph likes to wander.
I know.
Yeah, he's a wanderer. Like he's such a free spirit. He is such a free spirit.
I love Jerry Tempesta too. He sings music. Jerry Tempesta.
Did you
Doo-wop.
You haven't met Joe Daly?
Maybe not yet.
You're going to. Okay. I'm really going to introduce you to a very big Delaware County veterans community. I think that it's beneficial for them to meet you, to learn more about the Delaware County Veterans Memorial. Have you ever been there?
Where?
The Delaware County Veterans Memorial in Newton Square? Oh, you've never been there. Okay, you've never been there.
I mean, I visited the Korea one, the Vietnam one over by Penn's Landing, and I've been at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. You haven't been. I love, you haven't
been to the one in Delaware County then. Okay. It's right up Westchester Pike. Okay. And you'll see it as soon as you roll up on it. Yay. And when I mean,
I love visiting those and paying my respects.
And when I mean that this is a architectural monument to Delaware County men and women, and a monument to every conflict that we have been through here in America. The Veterans Memorial does it very, very well locally, and I mean very, very well. They leave no stone unturned, to put a pun to it. There are bricks with names and families who have donated. They have a memorial that has a marble slab dedicated by every township and county and municipality. Inside of its hall, its memorial hall, they have a dedication for the Vietnam veteran soldier there. They have a seat for the unknown soldier.
I am excited to visit it. I'm going to go check this place out tomorrow.
They're building a hall. Hey, they're building a hall and a pavilion finally. And just to touch base on this is that my brother Brian Sharif Taylor was on that board before he passed away, and we got an incredible experience. Again, my education for veterans comes from a place. It's not from any of these books. I promise you that.
Gotcha.
It's not from any of these books. These books are for me and self-study and stuff like that, and history. But my love for veterans comes from my father, my uncles, my aunts, the people my father was friends with, growing up around veterans. The veterans that are in my life, Joe and Lisa Kelly, Mike Law, several other people that aren't named.
Hi, Lisa. Nice to meet you.
It's going to smack me in my head later. Hold on. Jack, sell them for less, Burling, my guy. There are so many people that have graced me in Delaware County with teaching me the veterans experience. And now I feel comfortable in having these conversations because it's necessary. It's insightful. We need to get to more of a comfortability where we have these seminars, and there's part of the mental health programs that they have for regular citizens. Our state representatives, if you're here hearing this on the sound of my voice, and I know that you're going to get it, and my state senators, you need to push for making sure that when you have these mental health seminars, that it is inclusive of women veterans as a whole, but making sure that they are served. So if you need someone that's a spokesperson, someone that can go out and meet other women veterans, here you go. Here you are. This is the advocacy that we need. It's not about me bringing it to you through my wonderful world of Rich Blye. It's about that we have another member of the service of our armed forces who wants to come home and serve, who wants to be a part of the ongoing battles that we are having here and make the adjustment from this trauma to civilian life, to having a family, to feeling love, to being safe. And as a civilian, as a father, as a man, whatever I can do as far as I need to do for my part with this, all you gotta do is hit me up.
I feel conflicted about that because, like I said, I've been on social media, and you know, I 3 days before I got out the Army with my third assault and went through all that, there was a short film, a class called "I Was There" project by General Patton's relatives, and I went there. You know, it's like when my body nudges me and my mind and heart nudges me to do it.
Right.
And I just got done with the investigation, but my heart had it in me to go to this class, even though I was in the process of getting out of the service. And I made a 3-minute short film about like MST. And you know, someone watched it. One of the soldiers watched it, and you know what his response to me was? It wasn't positive. It was, "I wish I would have raped you too then. I would have raped you too."
Okay.
I said, what? And, you know, being on social media and exposing this stuff, I get those comments all the time. "Oh, you're lying. I heard this, this, and this, and blah, 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 blah. And you just, you didn't like having sex with them afterwards, so you reported it," or all those stupid different comments. I ignore them because I know my history and what I've been through, but that doesn't help with the defamation and people trying to tarnish my reputation and all that stuff.
I want to say this as your host, and I want to say this again
and for the other men and women.
Yeah, I want to say this because, you know, I know a lot of people come on social media and they pump fake. Okay, they say a lot of hurtful things to get at your emotional response receptors to put it down. You know,
but when it comes from my daughter and that,
yes, because of course it is, because they know how to break down your shield. They know how to break down that wall that we have for everyone else. They know how we're going to.
They're doing it on purpose. They want to see me get agitated again to prove that the restraining order needs to be still in effect, and then, like, I don't know, do some crazy shit. I don't know, but I'm strong, and I already know what you're doing, and I'm 10 steps ahead of you.
I say this from an aspect.
I'm very balanced and well reserved, and I know how to keep my composure.
As a person, again, you know, just making sure that I connect with you, okay, and making this connection. It's not about a man taking a role. It's really about, you need a phone. You know what I'm saying? You know what to do with the resource. You know what to do with this. You know what to do with that. I don't need to tell that to someone.
Roger.
My job is to hear what your problem is, and, yo, don't you deal with that? Yeah, hey, you need to talk to her. That's what I do, okay? I don't explain it. I don't advocate, like, you know what I mean? I know you can advocate for yourself. You feel me? I don't need to do that.
Can I advocate for those who are just having a hard time expressing it, or, you know, going through it or have been through it, who had to keep it inside because of the way the military was, where you knew you were going to get retaliated against or kicked out or held against you. So you kept it inside for 20 years. Now you're out and trying to deal with it. You're going through similar processes like I am. I get people all the time from the military community who have problems, and they'll stumble off one of my TikToks and then message me. And then I'll just look up I was human resources in the Army. I'm really good at doing research and paperwork. So, you know, I just look up the information and give it to them and figure out and get back with them. Like, you know, and it's helped people. I don't know how many people I've collectively helped, but I'm just hoping it made a difference in one person's life to just, like, let them know they're not alone and that they can stay. And if this person can go through all this stuff for one person in like a 34-year time span, you know, they can make it too.
Can I tell you that I want to, Vanessa, I'm going to say this to you. Please contact Lisa Kelly. Please contact my commander, okay? Everything that you're talking about doing, we have a hall, okay? It's for you, okay?
I actually want to I know it's a long shot, and I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. But I want to be able to get at the level to where I can do seminars and TED Talks and a large scale exposure to be a point of contact to help people.
You want to do a segment? You want to do a segment here?
I don't. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What I mean?
I've never done that before yet.
You're doing it now.
Okay.
What do you mean? You're doing it now.
I know.
You're doing it now. You know, a lot of people when they come on, and they go, Rich, I got this from my daughter. I got this from my son Michael. Everybody's like, I don't know. I said, if you don't come on here and be yourself, because I'm gonna be myself. You're just gonna have to be yourself because that's what people want.
Roger.
You know what I mean? Everything for TikTok and everything, that's great. Short term, you have to win people over very quickly. For these shows, people are getting to know you. They know who I am. My job is to make people aware of you, your situation, circumstances, what you advocate for, how you're going to make it work. And get out of the way. Because everybody now, they don't want me. They got me. They already got me. What people need and want is that they want to hear and they've heard. And I can guarantee you this has resonated with a lot of people already. I don't even have to look at the analytics. I already know certain people that are watching. And those certain people that are watching, there are certain people that relate to your experience.
Did you know that I literally... like last Friday, I was just going through it, and I had a plan. I had an action plan of what I was going to do. I let everybody know, like, goodbye. You know, I wrote a letter to my daughter. I called my stepdad, told him I loved him. Like, it was to that point. It was. And I was like, how do I make sure my daughter gets my will and all this other stuff? I even called the stepmom, and I knew it could be used against me in a flag. And I said, I need you to tell me one thing. If I end up taking my life or blah, 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 you know, are you going to be there to help make sure my daughter is okay, mom to mom, no matter how you feel about me and what you've said to me, of what you do to me on a daily basis that you don't want to admit to. And it just turned into this long battle of random stuff. And then I was just talking to other veterans in the village and that really appreciate what I do, because I do competitive bodybuilding, and I had a video where I exposed all that stuff too.
Right.
It was a short 2-minute video, and that's why I won 3rd and 5th place in the championship to qualify, and it was my first 2 bodybuilding shows ever. When I looked at the audience, when I saw the pictures that came back, some of them their heads are down, some of them didn't want to look at me. Some people were cheering and clapping. Some of them looked disturbed. So, I mean, everybody has different ways to process what they just experienced. And, wow, this person survived it, but at the same time, how are you still living? How are you healing from it? I feel my damn emotions. I had a spiritual awakening. I died and came back to life. I didn't say you have to do that. That's why I wrote the book, so you don't have to go through that. But you can learn from my experiences, my real life experiences of everything I've been through in the last 10 years, trying to adjust from the military and where I'm at now. There are days where I still want to take my life. I told you, I was really considering it last week. I'm like, I don't want to live to get to my 34th birthday. Then how is this going to affect my 10-year-old daughter?
I'm glad that God touched my heart to continue to reach out to you.
I'm still here.
You're going to be here now.
Like, mentally, I don't want to be. You know, I really want to check out, but
I know.
I'm holding myself here because there's only a certain way that I can treat my daughter, that love that she gets from me. Yes. And if I'm not here to do that, she's more likely to take her life and have problems if I take my life.
You don't want to be the cause for that fact.
She's already gone through enough. Yes. I don't want to put her through that. And no matter how hard, I don't want to fucking be in this earth anymore. And what I'm going through in my head with the eviction, with the car repossession coming up, with dealing with them and the financial struggles, or like being behind like 3 months in rent, and just my world is spiraling right now. But I get opportunities like this, and I have good people like Joe Griffey's and Tempesta. They're gonna talk to Dana Spain of the village. They're gonna get the VA. The woman that runs the VA, they already contacted her about a situation, and they have their little ant feelers out to get these big wigs of people who are in high positions to help me right now. And I'm grateful to them that they have that much power in the community to do that.
Yes.
So I can maintain my home, but
and we have more.
it's still hard.
And we yes, and you know what? Now that we have more eyes on it, and we're open with it, that is our strength. You know what I mean? There's not a thing. There's not a weapon formed against you that will prosper. There's not a weapon. So with that, what we do is that we marshal our forces. You know, I'm part of your team now. This is now your platform. How can I assist with that type of help? What we're doing right now is step one.
Thank you.
What we're doing right now is step one.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
I'm glad that God gave me the opportunity to be alive for this, because like I said, this isn't just about my show right now. The things that I'm listening to you, it triggers some things inside of me that I'm really going to have to deal with after this show.
No, we got to talk about it.
Listen, tomorrow is
eat a gummy. No, I'm just joking.
Sorry,
I'm kidding.
Listen, you in Chester, everybody know what's up. Tomorrow is actually my mother's birthday, and she passed away.
My condolences. My mom's passing away soon too, but unfortunately, my experiences with her are very dark and traumatic, so I'm kind of having mixed feelings about it, and I've already processed it and let her know that I love her and I forgive her. But
then guess what? You honored the commandment to the Lord, and that is what's important. Okay, whether you are forgiven or whether you are accepted on this earthly plane matters not, as long as you honor that commandment with promise. And I say that explicitly. That is the first commandment with promise. As long as you honor your father and your mother. The word does not say love. It says honor. The love you express is honorable, but you're good, because that's what the word says. So trust me, I
made amends with her, and I knew that she's dying right now of stage 4 liver cirrhosis, and she's still drinking. She's still drinking. She wants to go. She just got out of the hospital again yesterday. She had the SBP because there was blood coming out of where they have to do the
why do people
give
you? Why do people think that they can give you more than what you want to handle?
And then, it's like, I'm already going through all this stuff, but I'm worried about her too.
Right.
But we already made our amendment to each other, and I said my goodbyes already when I was up there in February, and just gave her the love that I knew that she needed from my daughter, despite how she treated me. And that's all I can live with. I love her dearly. I already forgive her. I know she was growing up when I was growing up and all this other stuff. And she had traumatic experience. I mean, she had to witness my biological father and her daughter, 18-month daughter, die in a car crash in Germany.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Literally a week after I was born. I was born November 28th, 1991, and they died January 4th, 1992. My dad was getting off staff duty. He was in Germany, 19 years old, driving down the Autobahn with his battle buddy, my sister, and my mom in the vehicle. They were kind of going through some marital issues. I guess this German girl was stalking my dad. My mom's Mexican, and she gave birth to me at 2 pounds and 0 ounces in Germany. That's a godsend, because if I would have not been, I probably could have died in that accident. That was a week later. But I was 2 pounds, 0 ounces, already, struggling the fight. And now I'm 180 pounds with 130 pounds of muscle mass and do competitive bodybuilding.
I listen. I already put it out there for certain people. The Army is strong, just so you understand and know.
I won against a female Marine for the Marine Corps birthday.
How did that go?
We were doing an arm wrestling challenge.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of Marines at the Newton Tavern. Like, let me go celebrate, because I was just in the veteran parade. Blah, blah, blah. It was Veterans Day weekend, and their birthday was there. So I was just chilling with a bunch of Marines I met at the parade, and they were all arm wrestling each other and taking shots.
Right.
And I'm okay. They were beating me. And I'm like, come on now. Give me another woman to do it. And because I have so much more muscle mass, I had won. So I was the one Army chick in there, and I beat this female Marine. But we hugged it out, and we became friends and stuff.
I used to,
in front of all those Marines. I don't think they realized I was Army.
No, they listen. Once they found out, they
went viral when they posted it. Like, what?
That is good. That is good stuff. Anytime that the Army can show up any branch, as you can tell, I'm pro-Army. My dad was Army. So anytime the Army can show up, go Army, beat Navy. Go Army, beat Navy.
Well, this Army chick just beat a female. with love. We're friends now. We really are.
Definitely with love, but Navy, you know what time it is. And you know what's going to happen at the American Legion Post. But again, our American Legion Post in Upper Darby Township. Lisa,
I'd love to go sometime.
Lisa Kelly is there every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Every Wednesday from 2 to 8, you are more than welcome to come in. You're more than welcome to talk to her. You're more than welcome to sit down with her, learn about our particular legion, gain information from her. She has a wealth of information, more than I do, of course. We have our own history in our own building there. And again, that's what our posts are for. So if you want to talk to her about, maybe having these opportunities here at that American Legion, it falls in with our core values.
Maybe I'll do a book sign in there or something and hand out my book.
Like I said, I'm going to give you.
We'll advise it and set it up.
No, dude. It's really, I felt very good about having this podcast. And when I told her I was coming, I already talked to her and said, hey, listen, you know what I'm going to do as a Sal? I am the Sal of that American Legion. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to advocate for her to come to our American Legion and have a safe space to do the things that she's doing.
Out of curiosity, because I know I've lived my life, so I don't see what I've been through. I don't see what you all see. So, I mean, what inspires Reverend Ben and the Colonel and you to even want to, I mean, what provokes you with what I say that it's like, okay, hey, this needs to get out there more. Like, I don't see any of that.
Can I tell you?
I'm living it myself.
We all come from women that have been through trauma. I know my mother's been through trauma with my father being in the service. He's a Vietnam veteran. Okay? I can remember situations where people would classify it as domestic violence. I was 5 years old when I was aware that my mother and father were arguing. Okay? And this was in Fort Bragg. Okay? So I'm fully aware of these situations growing up. I've seen domestic violence. I've had domestic violence happen to me. Same. Okay?
Just got
out of it. You know what I mean? It's the whole reason why, things have been done to me with my trauma.
Messes with your self-esteem and your worth and breaks you down as a person internally too. Like, it takes so much strength to take yourself out of that situation and feel like you deserve better when you're in a spot where you feel like you have no hope and you're hopeless.
Yes.
But I needed to do that for my daughter to get out of the situations I was and get my own housing so that she's not harmed.
Right. And
I did that.
And I
walked away and I did that.
And I can say this because with my daughter Tanisha, she's been on this show and she's explained what went down between me and her mother. And like I tell a lot of people, I don't come out publicly and talk against the women of my children. Okay, I'm not going to do that because they're not here to defend themselves. But my children have spoken publicly about the things that have happened to me. Mm-hmm. Now that they're older, now that they're adults. I don't have any babies. Mm-hmm. My children are adults, and because of that, they've gone through certain traumas themselves, and they've had to come back to me as their father and say, "Why is this?" And I had to give them honesty and truth. Like, I have a daughter, Doris. We were estranged for a long while. And
kind of what I'm going through with my daughter.
And when it came time to come back to it, I was surrounded by her siblings. And I was asked some very direct questions. Mm-hmm. And with her standing right there and her siblings, all eyes were on me. And I could have done one or two things. I could have been a dude and lied my way out of it, make any excuse, blah, blah, blah. Or deal with the consequences of my actions by telling the truth. Roger. And I told her the truth, and it hurt her. And I knew it hurt her. I knew it did. But I let all of that truth fly out of my mouth because I knew that if I lied to her, the collateral damage would have been with her sisters because they already knew the truth. Yes. And that's what I was faced with. So I had to really put my pride in the bottom of the ground. Mm-hmm. And man up and account myself to the women that belong to me. That's what I tell people. I don't have conversations with women who don't belong to me. I don't have debates with women who don't belong to me or are a part of, my social construct. I don't do that. I don't do that even online. Right. I tell a woman, excuse me, I don't argue with women, thank you, and keep it moving. Because it's of no substance. You don't know me. Mm-hmm. You don't know what I'm about. But a lot of women, even when they see this podcast, what I'm giving you. And then after this podcast is over, I go back to my private life.
Roger, me too.
You know what I mean? I go back to my private life. I go back to my private things, and I go back to the things that I need to deal with. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that is isolation. Same. A lot of that is self-reflection. And I have to find that spirituality. So when you say, what is it about us? And I understand it's a trust thing, okay? Because I'm going, hey, we can do this. Hey, we can do that. Hey, we can do that. Well, a lot of me volunteering that is that because for the past 5 years before my brother died, I had that type of life. I was happy being able to facilitate for veterans. I was happy driving him around. I'm telling you, I would drive all the way from Lehigh County with that man. My brother Brian, I would put anywhere he needed to go. I ain't care what kind of gas. I ain't care if he had no gas. I ain't care if he had no cigarettes. I ain't care if he had no beer. I don't care if he had no whiskey. Yo, bro, you ain't ever got to worry about nothing as long as I got it. And he would call, yo, bro, I need to go here to media. I need to go. All right, let me know what time you need ready to go. He would call me. Listen, wherever he needed me to go, if I wasn't doing something else with family or whatever, I was there for my brother for 5 years.
Thank you for taking care of him.
He took care of me. That's what people didn't understand. He took care of me. He blocked for me. He bulldozed for me. This sergeant was for me. So when I say that I got some blessings from some veterans, meeting Colonel Jenkins. Colonel Jenkins my brother Brian, we lost Mr. Schaefer as our veteran service officer, and we were without a veteran service officer for 2 years. And this is under COVID.
He passed away?
No, he was fired. He was fired for political reasons. Okay? He was fired for political reasons. My brother Brian Sharif Taylor stayed on media's ass. He did not relent. He did not give up. He sent email after email visiting. He went and spoke at meetings. How come we don't have a veteran service officer? How come we don't have a veteran service officer? You got Veterans Affairs, Military and Veterans Affairs. He stayed on them. He was relentless. In the same process, I was doing Juneteenth. I was trying to get that promoted. He saw how people were coming against me, both black, white, whatever, because this was not a racial thing. This was just a hatred for somebody that was doing something and who has a big mouth. Yeah. Okay, and that's what it's about. I had a big mouth, and they didn't like me, so they're gonna block what I was doing. They're gonna make sure that nobody sees me for the 250th anniversary of this nation. But I got a very rude awakening coming for all of them out Delaware County. You gonna remember this name? These guys got in the way, and my brother Brian Sharif Taylor instilled values of understanding today's soldier. I understood the honor of my father and his time. But now these social issues, now these mental health issues, now these stigmas are this time soldiers. I have a grandson and a nephew, United States Marines and United States Army. Okay?
Hey, shout out.
Yeah, okay, so I have to be prepared here for when they come home, for what they might endure, for what they might go through. And that's the problem, is that during that time where my father was coming, nobody was prepared. This is why the VA is so behind, because nobody's prepared. We have to prepare ourselves. We are the expert. You are the expert. I would rather somebody come to you and understand what you know, understand what you've been through, so that way they can get the information that you dig up for them that helps them. Because a lot of times, now that we have Colonel Jenkins back, but a lot of times there's only 2-3 people in that office. Okay, we have a satellite office down here in Drexel Hill, right where the ShopRite is. But again, there's no sign up. There's no sign up. There's no sign up. You know what I mean? So Delaware County Council, thank you for the building and thank you for the office space. But if veterans don't know where to go, how can they get help? These are the things that we continue to fight for, the small things that people take for granted. The veterans need a damn sign, and we got to beg them for it. This is why I go the way that I do, because I'm tired of begging for veterans to not be first.
I'm tired of them.
I'm tired of you not being first. Yeah, I'm tired of you not being first. I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of it. And all the veterans out here in the world know how I feel about it. Like I said, I'm a civilian. I have not served. I wear these pins and I wear this hat for a representation of my deceased brother and my father, and the 50th anniversary pins that are on side to side for my dad, and for the Iraqi Freedom Medal that's right here in the center, and my Sal graduation pin because I did pass my classes.
Nice. Congratulations.
Okay? I'm very proud of these things to be a part of the veteran community. And I speak of it with a spirit of being energized by it because, again, I met a 100-year-old veteran from the Battle of the Bulge who stood up for me when he was being honored for being a survivor from the Battle of the Bulge. And when I told him, sir, I didn't serve, my father did in Vietnam, that man got up out of his seat in front of his son and his daughter-in-law, the man's wife, and stood up and saluted me. I said, sir, what are you saluting me for? He says, I'm saluting you because your father's not here. Can you imagine having somebody from World War II standing up in the middle of a ball field in Drexel Hill and the honor's all about him and he's 100 years old, but he takes the time out to salute you because of your father who's deceased? I'm honored. That's why I kept coming for you.
I did. I met a veteran at the Veterans Day Parade. He was 102, almost 103. And, I stood up and saluted him. And he was having an issue where he needed oxygen and stuff and was having a little bit of a medical emergency. But I made sure, I came and thanked him and talked to him and took a picture with them to commemorate him, and just was really I'm so honored to meet the veterans that came before me that paved the way.
Absolutely.
I give them so much respect no matter what they did in the military, despite how people treat me for being raped and medically retired because I didn't go to camp officially.
Right.
Or I didn't, get kills or whatever.
No. See, the thing about it is that it's a castration of spirit. Okay, which is worse than war because you're alive while it's being done. Let's not diminish any of the energy that you put into this. Let's not do that, because at the end of the day, you did this from the spirit and the courage of your heart to do this. And people don't understand that when veterans get that way, because I have a friend, Lamont Harris, up here in Chester. He's United States Navy. And Lamont, I love you, so I'm going to talk about you.
It's cool if we had a couple people that are watching call in if they have any questions or something they want to say.
Well, they're not going to call in tonight because I have to set that up.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to set that up. I'm going to set that up for the next time. Okay. So, I didn't know what kind of format it was going to be.
Gotcha.
But again, you're going to meet these people in person. Okay, this is our reconnection, but this is not the last time I'm going to be in touch with you. This is not the last time that you're going to hear from me. This is not the last time you're going to hear from a lot of people.
Is there any pressing concerns or questions that are wavering on your heart that you really want to know?
No, because you know why? This exchange right now, this is more than just veterans related. This is now two people who have experienced mutual traumas, who are being open and honest to an entire world to view, look at, see. You can disagree, you can agree, you can say, you know what I learned in my trauma? I don't care. Yeah. And I don't say that I don't care about you. I don't care how you feel about me doing what I do for my trauma, because it absolutely makes me happy.
And it has nothing to do with
it. Has nothing to do with my functionality. Right. It has nothing to do with my spirituality. My trauma comes from being silenced.
Yes, me too.
And
betrayed by my
and betrayed by somebody else in my own race. To be betrayed by a public official. I ain't going to get into that because I'm going to dig into him later. But again, that's where it comes from. To be an advocate, to be someone that was standing up for community, to be someone who didn't want to be recognized for personal acclaim. I wanted to help people. I was helping people. But because I got a big mouth, and because I call people out by name,
I got a big mouth too. That's why
listen,
so many people don't like me.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now.
How graphic it is.
I try.
We have to talk about it.
I try my best to be public enemy #1. I like that title. I really do. I like that title.
It's still engagement and they're interacting with it no matter how they feel.
Because they're going to come anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you might as well just come on, welcome in. The fire's on, the coffee's on. No problem. Make yourself at home. I'll be in a little bit of
chocolate.
Yeah. I'll be back from killing the bear and skinning it and getting ready to put it up on the fire. And we could talk about pistols or knives. Listen, that's the mindset. I'm not saying.
That's why I got into competitive bodybuilding.
You know what I mean? That's the mindset. So with that mindset, growing up, like I said, I'm 58 years old. So I'm you know what I mean? So I'm like, so I'm like this. I know that I'm on the downslope of my time. Okay, I'm not got a foot in the grave or anything like that. But during this time is when I'm supposed to be at my very best. And this is where I'm supposed to give of my very best right now. Oh, I am.
You are.
And I am. Because it starts with an individual. My brother Brian Sharif Taylor said, everyone has value. He said, everyone has value. And Rich, if you can find the value of one person and can help them get to a position where they can help themselves, you're going to gain part of that person's value. And that's what I've gotten with all of the people that I've connected with on Facebook and Instagram. All of my friends are connected to me that way. It's not connected because they feel sorry for me or because I'm a black guy or because I'm this or I'm that. It's that in situations where community was necessary, where they needed someone who was going to show up and, you know, and really support, whether it be physically, whether it be in spirit, whether it be monetary, whether it be whatever, I didn't go, oh yeah, I'm gonna be there. I made sure I was there. I made sure I brought a friend. I made sure that I didn't come empty-handed. I made sure that I brought, you know, either leadership or my muscle. One of the two. One of the two's coming. Which one do you need? My motto is, where do you need me? I'm dead serious. I say that all the time. Where you need me at? You know, Colonel Jenkins for the flag raising. I need you right here. And for every flag raising, I stood in the very spot that he told me to stand. I didn't move no place else. I didn't go no place else. He said, stand here. So I followed directions very well.
Hi, Colonel Jenkins.
You know what I'm saying?
Jenkins?
Jenkins.
We miss you.
Yeah, you know.
He's such a good guy.
And he's growing into his position. Like I said, he came out to the last veterans event that I had. So I know that the more that we promote women's veterans, and you're my, yes, thanks, Brian. You're I'm like you just had to understand. My brother Brian, when he passed away, he had several things on his desk that he didn't get to finish. And you're number 2 on that list. Because one of them was finishing out a case for a veteran's widow. I finished out the case. It's not the result that she wanted, but it's a firm understanding where she needs to be. Yes. Okay. In this case, my brother Brian Sharif Taylor, we threw an event where we were trying to invite women veterans, and the women's veterans that were there were kind of like the people that did the seminar or from the VASH and everything like that. But we really didn't get the women's response of having actual women veterans. So I'm not going to say he was disappointed, but I don't think he was happy. So when I met you with the rest of the guys at the Sharon Hill Library, and I listened to you, I watched, and that's why I said, okay, when you meet a veteran, what's the first thing you do, folks? Hi, my name is Rich Blye. And I shut up, and I listened. And from there, I said, this is my father's journal.
What did you gain from that experience?
What, meeting you and learning and listening?
Yes, that day.
I've never met any of you as veterans. You were in Delaware County. I wanted to meet every vet. My job as not only Sal, but as a member of Tailor Made Vets, the nonprofit that my brother started. My job was to engage every veteran that I meet. That's my number one standing order. Engage every veteran I meet. So when I meet a veteran, no matter how old, no matter where you served, how you look, whether you got every body part or not, you're going to meet me because that's my job.
It's an honor to meet you.
That's my job. Thank you. That's my job.
And just the city of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania for recognizing me for Veterans Day, and
we're not done. We're not
supporting the book. And
listen, we're not done.
Inspired by my life story.
We're not done. This is for me. This is a start. This is where I start. Where I start promoting your book. This is where I start talking about this experience. This is where I take this. I take this podcast and I put it in different social media outlets. This is where I start talking about the invaluable experience that me as an old man learning from a young person who has served, that I appreciate so much. What I appreciate about veterans is your oath. We have a lot of people who take that oath and it doesn't mean a damn thing to them. They've never analyzed the words. They don't understand the commitment. They don't understand the sacrifice. And they really, really don't care. And I've seen it in their faces all of my life. I'm just the point where, as me as a civilian, I'm not taking it lying down anymore. I'm not going to sit up here and let anybody disservice any veteran in front of my face. I know it's not the protocol that you're used to, but welcome to the old ways disappearing. Welcome to the new. If you disrespect the veteran in front of me, I'm going to check you. Because I can do that. I understand the honor. I understand the protocol of a veteran because I got schooled on it behind closed doors.
Speaking of that, have you seen the Netflix series Boots? Oh, I love that. Yes. It was amazing. Yes. And for any other people out there, they did such a good job, regardless of it being the Marine Corps, of what every single branch can go through as a basic training, and why we're built the way we are and why we think the way we do and how you get broken down from. It was just so accurate, and the humor and just everybody and the story, because I can relate to that story because I joined after the National Intel was repealed.
Right.
But my grandfather Morbeck, my dad's dad, so he served during, I think, the 30s and 40s, and when they had the Berlin Wall crisis. And he's been gay all his life.
Right.
But he was extorted by this woman who said she would expose him if he didn't marry her and all that stuff. So he was in service when he was gay, and he may have had some experiences in there, during it, similar to mine maybe. Because I did ask him about it one time before he died a couple years ago. And he had lost his son when his son was 19. So, he always looked at me like I was his son because I'm just splitting image of him, but I'm a woman.
Right.
And I'm half Mexican. But the German-Swedish side roots are very strong. And he'd always joke about me, about having his teeth and just comparing me to my dad all the time. And that's how I learned about him. And when he died, I got my dad's flag and that they hold over his casket.
Yes.
And all the belongings of what my dad was and everything like that. But my grandfather held on to that for 84 years till he passed. And I went in my uniform and helped put the flag over my grandfather's casket. And when I told you I drove from here to Wisconsin, that his death broke me because he was like a father to me, and I cared about him so much, and I took care of him. And they stuck him in a nursing home his wife stuck him in the nursing home for 5 years, for the last 5 years of his life. Because she just hated him. She was done using him, right? So I love you, Grandpa Morbeck. And I love my dad, Robert Morbeck, that they all served. And then my stepdad, Frank, who right now is in Pittsburgh. And he was the cop for 20 years. And he was in the Gulf War, the Persian Gulf War in Saudi Arabia. So Desert Storm time frame. Same time frame, 19, 20. Yep. Right now, he's in his 50s, and he has very fast progressing Gulf War syndrome, dementia, and Alzheimer's, and he's only 53.
This is all the more reason, folks, ladies and gentlemen.
Because of what he was exposed to in the war.
This is all the more reason why, ladies and gentlemen, that that this is all the more reason why. And I'm not going to end this segment like this because we have so much more to talk about. So I'm not going to end this segment like this. This is you can call this part 1. You can call this part 1. And like I said, there are so many different opportunities, not only with cmpradio.net. There's so many different opportunities with Our American Legion. We're looking for membership actively. Okay, we're looking for membership. We're looking for people to move the American Legion program. We're looking for women veterans. We're looking for children. You know, we're looking for it all. Yes, I am. My job as the Sal is to promote my American Legion and to promote the American value and to promote the patriotism of this country and to open up our hearts and minds to the post-service of our men and women who have come here and have fought for your freedom. This is my job. My job is to be the rah-rah man.
And I love my stepdad so much. He accidentally called me this morning, and I'm like, hey, Dad, you know, I kind of have to talk to him like a kid because he doesn't understand what I'm saying. He'll be like, you know, like it's just progressing that bad. His physical health is good, but the mental part of it, with the dementia, Alzheimer's, at like 53. I'm like, Dad. And he was, like I said, he was a cop in Milwaukee Police Department for 20 years. Had a couple surgeries, but for whatever reason, the last like 5 or 6 years, it just really went downhill where they had to retire him from law enforcement. But he's good. He gets 2 pensions, the VA 100%, and then the law enforcement. But, you know, irregardless, he can't function to use it.
Right.
He's losing his memory. He's losing his mind. And I cry so much, and I take care of him, and I fight for him, even though I don't have 100%, you know, yet. But I fought for him to get his 100% and advocated as high as I could. And,
there's different ways to make sure you get your...
No, I know, but I take care of him because he's a veteran like me. Mm-hmm. He raised us when my mom left us as a single dad, even while he was in the police department and all that stuff with his 2 younger kids, which his daughter's a cop, and then he has an autistic son, and then me. And I was the oldest in the house, and I had to take care of everyone when our mom abandoned us and left at like, I think it was like 14 or 13. And so, you know, I had to step up and be the mother figure for quite a while until I left for the Army. But, you know, now it's my turn to take care of him, and I do. Trust me, I do.
Right.
And if I was never in the service, I wouldn't understand what he's going through. So I'm glad I can provide for him too as much as I can.
You know, and this speaks to your resiliency and your strength. And so this is where, in closing, I just want to say that your courage isn't just healing. It's revolutionary. And the reason why it's revolutionary is that a lot of people will not take this type of courage. And if, you know, I'm a nobody, and I say that to people all the time.
I feel like a nobody.
I am a nobody, but I'm somebody in the eyes of my Lord. And since I praise his name daily, the strength is amplified. When I tell people that I'm speaking from inside of me, it's what God has purposed. Like I said, before I got you, everything on my tablet was about something else.
What was that program you were talking about?
The Darvo method?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Oh, let's talk about the Darvo method. Okay, hold on. All right. There are different types. Manipulated pupils was my topic for today, okay? So I'm just going to give the Darvo method. The Darvo method, spelled D.A.R.V.O. method. Everybody's got an acronym. I kind of hate it. Okay. The Darvo method is deny, attack, and reverse victim and defender. We've all been through this. This is part of what you're going through now.
Time of this
it's a psychological sleight of hand, a way for somebody to flip the entire script when you try to hold them accountable. Example, you bring a legitimate argument about something that harms you, calmly, respectfully, just trying to talk. Step 1, they'll deny it. That never happened. You're making things up.
My recent...
Or wait a minute. You're being way too dramatic. Sound familiar? Okay, hold on. Let's go. And then they go to step 2. They attack you. Okay? Hold on.
And they get other people to attack.
Oh, wait a minute. No. Don't skip over yet. Hold on, wait a minute. We got to get on the attack part. Okay? Hold on, wait a minute. It's about your tone. You know how many people have said, oh, if you would just lower your tone. Huh?
Hell no.
Huh? Huh?
A 10 hood. I'll talk like a drill sergeant.
Did I tell you to lower your tone when you were talking to me?
Negative.
All right.
Don't date and marry a veteran if you don't want to get talked to as what we're trained. It never goes away.
They attack your tone, your timing.
You're loud.
And you know what they do? They attack your past. Suddenly, it's not about what they did. It's rather about what and how and why you brought it up. Okay, so now, hold on, wait a minute. Here we go. And next step 3 is the flip. Okay, and the flip is where they make themselves the victim. You're not the one who got hurt. They are. Okay, you did this to me. They're the ones on the. I feel attacked. This is the number one excuse of the American politician. The number one. You're attacking me.
The last 4 years story of my life.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. They can't do anything right. I'm not good enough for you. They can't do nothing right. They act like that. They act like your honesty is a lie and it's cruel. And now you're the one that has to explain themselves.
I don't need to explain myself.
Right.
If you don't understand, then I'm gonna walk away because I don't have time to argue with you.
Hold on, but wait a minute. This is not just emotional manipulation. This is narrative control.
It's a psychological
right. They get to control the narrative.
It's like passive aggressive too.
They get to control the narrative. They get to tell everybody you're crazy. They get to tell everybody you're this. They get to tell everybody you're that. Because now they have you second guessing your esteem. They have you second guess the spirit and that energy that your father put in you, that your stepdad put in you. These things that your answer. Listen, I'm going down the bloodline. I'm going to start with who started first.
At some point, my ancestors wanted someone like me to be here. So to do exactly what I'm doing.
We're all here for the purpose of honoring our ancestors.
And not repeating and breaking their cycles they were subjected to.
We're all here for
it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. We're all here for the honor of our ancestors. That's the problem, is that people don't understand that one word, honor. That's our problem. That one word, and I keep saying it over and over again, that one word, honor. If you understood it and you lived by it, you would see your life get better. But because you have ungodly ways and an evil spirit, you can't decipher what honor is because you're doing things treacherous to hurt somebody. So wait a minute. And I'm going to finish with this. There are ways to turn this around now. If you're on the receiving end, it can confuse you to make you feel ashamed or even guilty of speaking out. If you start wondering that you're too harsh and maybe you came across wrong, you start defending your tone instead of your truth, and this is how you deal with it, and these are the 3 steps that I used. Don't take the bait. If the conversation starts to be about their pain and their suffering, hold on, let me pause you for a second. Let me pause you right here. Let's return to the point of why we're talking. I'm bringing up this subject about what you did to me, okay? That's what I'm doing. Okay, that's what I'm doing.
I've been toying to that before.
That's what I'm doing.
Both the romantic part.
Yeah, no. We going to get to the point.
No, let me tell you though. I literally went to Mount Holly Police Department this morning and said, I can't take this anymore. What's going on? And the cop disregarded me. I'm like sitting here telling you, like, look, this is really making me suicidal. I need help. I want to try to report this. Oh, you got to go to the courthouse. It's not a law enforcement matter. It's a family matter. And this sergeant from Mount Holly, I don't want to blow his name out there, like disregarded what the hell I was saying. He's like, well, why don't you go to the VA and get help? Like, I'm like, what do you want me to do? You just walk back in the thing. It's like 30 degrees at like not 8 a.m. when you open. I need to know. Another officer told me to go from there to the department and report it. And now you're just dismissing it. Right. What if I was like legitimately actively suicidal and I took my car and crashed it or something?
And that's more the reason why that nowadays this is why we're pressing our legislators and we're pressing people to.
Are you not taking your job seriously?
No, because a lot of people don't understand that we need to have individuals who are trained to understand.
They're like, well, why don't you just block? Why don't you? First, he said, like, don't listen to what they're saying. I'm like, you don't get how it's affecting my daughter and what it does to us. Oh, they're just being mean to you. They're not committing a crime. They're being mean to you with their words. I'm like, it's not just that. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. He said, go drive to Philly and then go to the VA hospital. I said, I was supposed to come here to make a report, so maybe I can like get the custody thing modified so that we can talk through a custody app so I don't have to hear their rhetoric all the time. So then it's monitored. That's all I came here to ask. Mm-hmm. And they wanted me to drop stuff off at their house. If I go 500 feet from there, even though they allow me to drop stuff off like mutually, I either would have to sometimes call the cops to let them watch me do it.
Right.
Or it could get turned against me eventually whenever they want to press their foot down on my neck and say she was at our house and she violated the restraining order because we had her drop stuff off.
So what we're going to do is we're going to end this segment right now. No, listen. See,
it was on my heart.
These are the things.
Because the way that cop treated me this morning.
This is why we're going to do a continuation. Yeah, I know, because here's the thing. We have to do a continuation now. You know why? Because this is an unresolved matter, but now you have a platform because you have people that are now going to answer. There are people that are going to purchase your book. There are people that are going to reach out to you and make sure that you're okay.
I'm doing fine.
No, listen to me. We have veterans that are going to reach out. Now, I'm not talking about regular people, okay? Excuse me, regular people, back up. We're talking about veterans. We're going to make sure our community is straight. I'm going to make sure our community is straight, if you allow me, because I'm asking for permission.
No, but I did another podcast like a couple of weeks ago, and I was literally begging to them, crying of what I needed and what I was going through. And they were trying to compliment on my resiliency. It was the same one I was on with Reverend Benjamin Nelson. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like nothing happened after that.
No.
It was like.
No, that's not how I work.
I'm like, I'm still in the crisis that I'm in.
No. That's not how I work.
Like,
that's not how I work. The people who are listening to my podcast and what I do afterwards is that this just doesn't stop here.
It's like it was just lip service.
No.
You wanted me on your show, and then.
No.
You actually didn't really help me.
I don't do this for ratings.
No, not you. I'm just saying that experience. I'm like,
no, I don't do this for ratings. I'm gonna tell you like this. I love to be competitive, but today's show is not a competitive show.
Roger.
Today's show is all about you. Bryce will tell you.
Sorry if
I've been
no.
Bryce will tell you. I've been waiting for this show. This is the show I've been waiting for. I love all my. We need to deal with women veterans. Yes or no?
Good feelings either.
Nope.
Not nobody coming in here and say, "Oh, it was great, that was good, it was wonderful." No, tell me about the things that affected you, right? Tell me what you might have PTSD from, right? So,
15 rapes in the military, right. And then medically we were forced into a retirement. Right. Well, sexual assault cases, not rape specifically, because they were all different things within 5 years. Just to get told I'm a liar and that. Get my weapon taken away or all this other stuff and put on suicide watch and then wrongfully discharged from the service and forced into a retirement when I still want to serve 20 years. I'd go back in right now if they took me.
Oh, well, hand me that book real quick.
Oh, yes, please talk about it. I'm so excited to read it.
Now, as a gift, because, again, there are just certain people who deserve it. I stood in line for this book. And this book went on a little journey, and it is one of my favorite all-time sports people, personalities, individuals who has had a lot of different traumas in her life, but has succeeded. And her book is Uncommon Valor, Dawn Stately. And I think that this is a book that can help inspire women to look at her story and see themselves and look for inspiration from a woman's perspective. So as a gift, I want to make sure that you have something that you know that as I give this gift of a book, because the best gift I can give is a book, is that you're not alone. You're not alone. And the American Legion, when I took to college, they said, be the one. That's what they told me. And I've been being the one ever since then. I'm going to be the one in Delaware County. I'm going to be the one in Upper Darby. I'm going to be the one in Chester. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one citizen because, like I said, I'm around a bunch of veterans. All my other sals have served.
Thank you so much for that. And
Yeah.
for really looking at us as human beings and individuals and what we went through and not just casting us aside, even if your dad served.
Let me tell you something. I got nothing else better to do.
Thank you. I'm sure there's others that are so appreciative of
there's a lot of people that feel the way that I do. It's just
Where are they?
Right. That's my point. You've been searching for them, and I know where some of them are. Yeah. I know where some of them are. And like I said, Ralph Galati.
Ralph, hi.
Yeah,
It was honored to march in the parade with you.
National treasure.
National treasure.
But, ladies and gentlemen, this is CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester. The wonderful world of Rich Blye is now signing off. We'll see you on the flip side.